Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling everything is going my way. Happy Wednesday, the 19th day of February 2020. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. The sun is up at 7 o'clock sharp. We get 10 and a half hours of daylight today, and you'll want to enjoy every last minute of it because we're in for another beautiful day in the Wenatchee Valley. 44 was our high yesterday, right around there, maybe a little cooler. Of course, it's clear skies up above 25 degrees, so it's chilly, but it's going to be another beautiful day. Gobs of gooey good sunshine. Forecast details are coming up, and then we kind of have a little over the weekend. I just made that word up. Can't spell it, but I can make it up. It's going to cloud up a little bit. Could see a raindrop or two over the weekend, but it's another great day. Looking forward to it. February is National Heart Health Month, and yesterday, Joel Rhyner from Confluence Health dropped by to say hi, to talk about a big event going on at the Pybus Public Market this weekend, to talk about the old ticker talk with Joel Rhyner from Confluence Health coming up in the back half of the hour. It's a conversation you do not want to miss. The Wenatchee Panthers move on in the playoffs for the boys. The Wenatchee girls, their season came to an end last night. We have highlights from the Wenatchee Moses Lake boys basketball game that we televised last night when we get to sports, plus the obscure holiday. Mike McNally's got an opinion. We got Today in History, and we got some celebrity birthdays to pass along to you as well. I don't want to waste any more time. I want to see what these cameras look like this morning as the sun is just now creeping up over the Wenatchee Valley. Starting tomorrow, sunrise will be before 7 a.m. I have no complaints of that. That peach, apricot, pinkish hue, salmon color, if you will. It's just gorgeous. Sun's just now coming up over the East Wenatchee bench as we take a look at the cross camera. I've had a number of people over the last week say, we love your show, but what we really like is when we take our little high-definition tour with our cameras around North Central Washington, courtesy of Localtel's Sky-Fi high-speed wireless, and I don't blame them. I think it's the best part of the show, too. I'd rather look at that than me. Anyway, good morning to the Valley proper. From this point forward, it's what we call Megan's Choice. She gets to decide. She says Omi Gardens isn't a bad place to visit, and it is not a bad place to visit either. Omi Gardens, beautiful view there. Roughly, that camera is roughly the same elevation as the cross camera. Of course, it's just pointing the other direction as we look at the Otobashan Bridge, the Stimilk Complex. I went out to the Stimilk retail store again earlier in the week and stocked up on some apples and some oranges. I love the folks out there at the Stimilk retail store. So good morning to our friends in the Wenatchee Valley, looking to the south instead of the north. Still quite a bit of snow, though, on Jump Off Ridge and Mission Ridge as well. Been a good snow year for the snowpack up in the Cascades. Of course, last year at this time, it was, 14 degrees in the Wenatchee Valley, and we were buried in a foot of snow. What a difference a year makes. Camera number 3. Megan says, let's pay a visit to the Arrondo Rock camera. Lake Antioch dominating your view. Turtle Rock, Mission Ridge way off in the distance there. Gorgeous view. Eric Granstrom went fishing on Monday. Went up to Lake Chelan and caught himself some kokanee. Probably drank himself some kokanee too. So hey, get out and enjoy this weather because, it doesn't last forever. But for the middle of February, this is beautiful. I love it. Camera number 4. We say hello to, that's Waterville way off in the distance, but I can't remember the name of it. Is it the Rude Canyon camera? It is. It's the Rude Canyon camera looking out over Waterville. I wonder what that mountain way off in the distance is. That's going to pique my curiosity. If you know, let me know. And you can still see quite a bit of snow up there hanging around the Waterville Plateau. One of my favorite hamlets in North Central Washington is Waterville. Super friendly people up there in Waterville, H2Oville, as we sometimes call it. 4 minutes after the hour, we have a slide to show you, kind of preview the rest of the week and into the weekend. And again, not a lot talking about the remainder of the week. Looks great. Highs will be in the 40s, just a little bit above normal. Lows, again, because there's no cloud cover to hold the heat in, will be in the 20s. And as I mentioned before, a weak storm system arrives over the weekend. It comes in Friday night. We have an increasing chance of rain and snow, certainly snow in the upper elevations, maybe a little breezy at times. Then we go back to quite a bit of sunshine for the early part of next week. So dry weather into the weekend and dry weather for the rest of this week. Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling gives your home a hug, and they sponsor the weather forecast. Here comes the van. There they go. Going to take a look-see at your HVAC unit there. 42 our high today. Gobs of sunshine. 24 tonight. We do it again on Thursday. We do it again on Friday. High pressure is running the show, and it's knocking any kind of storm system that's out there out of alignment. It's either going up into British Columbia or down south into Northern California, and we are sitting high and dry. So sunny today, sunny Thursday, Friday, just a couple of clouds, especially later on Friday afternoon. Things start changing Friday night. The clouds will be rolling in. That's where we have a much warmer overnight low of about 30 degrees. Saturday, mixture of clouds and sun. We'll call it partly cloudy. No precipitation in the forecast on Saturday. That's really the transition day, 48 for the afternoon high. Sunday, best chance of rain. Actually, the best chance of any kind of precipitation at all is going to be Saturday night into Sunday. Basically, we're looking at rain from about 5 a.m. Sunday morning till about 10 a.m. Sunday morning. It's certainly going to be cloudy for most of the day on Sunday with some late afternoon sun breaks, but we are going to get wet when you get up Sunday morning. It should be raining with some snow in the upper elevations. We'll top off at about 46 degrees and we go right back to sunshine on Monday and Tuesday. I'm loving it. So that's your forecast from the National Weather Service. Always defer to the experts on these kinds of things. Mountain passes, I got nothing to tell you. Hop in the car, buckle the seatbelt, and down the road you go. That's a live shot of I-90. No advisories, no restrictions. Roadway is bare and dry. Stevens Pass, no advisories, no restrictions. Roadway bare and dry. Blewett Pass, live shot there. No advisories, no restrictions. The roadway is bare and dry. I like to say bare and dry. And you're fine. You're good to go. No snow at all until Saturday night. That's it. Because we're going to get rain, as I mentioned before, snow in the upper elevations. But even then, they're not going to get a lot of snow. But between now and Saturday night, you got no problems at all. In the Cascade, 7 minutes after the hour. Going to take a break on this Wednesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Come back with your news. There's a lot of news to get to. It's a busy day yesterday. We'll fill your head for the information you need to start your Wednesday in 1 minute. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live this morning from Studio 1 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Live channel.
Hi, my name is Jim Heinlein, owner and agent at Springwater Insurance Group, formerly known as Senior Insurance Services. There's so much new this year. In fact, we brought in a new consultant, Harley, to help us with all our Medicare changes. So if you have questions about how Plan F's going away or what drug plan should I use this year, give us a call at Springwater Insurance Group and Harley and I will solve those problems for you. 888-2600.
Boating in the Wenatchee Valley starts at Bob File Boats and Motors. Now you can fish like a pro without breaking the bank thanks to the ProMag aluminum fishing boat by Smokercraft. It features a great layout with a spacious bow casting platform, huge live wells, and in-floor storage to safely stow your gear. See the Smokercraft line of boats at Bob File Boats and Motors on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee or online at bobfile.com.
Bob File Boats and Motors, we're dealing. Bob File's gonna make you smile.
Clear skies, 25 degrees at 8 minutes after the hour. Lots of sunshine today. Highs will be in the 40s, lower to mid 40s today, tomorrow, Friday. A little bit of rain, maybe Saturday night into Sunday. But all in all, a beautiful weather forecast. This is making headlines on this Wednesday. The Okanagan County Sheriff's Office is searching for a couple of suspects who robbed the Super Stop in Pateros at gunpoint. This happened Sunday evening, and we do have the footage. A man and a woman reportedly arrived on foot at the store. This happened again at 10:23 on Sunday night. Their faces were covered. They held the clerk at gunpoint, forced her to open the cash register, fled with an undisclosed amount of cash. The clerk, by the way, not injured. The man, described as about 5'6", wearing a black hooded sweatshirt, blue jeans, black tennis shoes, and holding a blue or a tan backpack. The woman, about 5'3", slender build, brown eyes, wearing a gray hooded sweatshirt, torn jeans, tan slippers, and holding a large purple purse or bag. If you have any information on this robbery in Pateros on Sunday night, you're asked to contact the Okanagan Sheriff's Office at 509-422-7232. Well, Douglas County Commissioners have put off their decision until later on this year, specifically in the summertime, on whether to open union negotiations for public view. It's a proposal that has set a lot of county's employees' teeth on edge. Our very own Jefferson Robbins filed this report.
It'd be really great, but I was just wondering if I could ask for some crowd participation. People in favor of this proposition in this room, please raise your hand. Those opposed?
It wasn't a binding vote, but the point was made. The 5 bargaining units that represent Douglas County public employees want to negotiate their contracts privately, as they've done for decades. The county's 3 elected commissioners want to hold their own vote on whether to open those contract talks to public view. At the end of a hearing Tuesday at the Douglas County Courthouse, the commissioners voted to hold off any decision until July 21st.
It's a lot to digest. I think it's actually more than we can digest today in one quick meeting.
Under a proposed resolution, Douglas County negotiating sessions would become public meetings, and salary and benefit proposals would be treated as public documents before any contract is ratified. Commissioners say it's in the best interest of taxpayers.
I think it's more of a sign of the times that we see coming this way. We're seeing these types of negotiations happening in various states, several counties within Washington state. And from a public official's position, I just like the idea of transparency.
Unions, including Ask Me and the Teamsters, represent more than 200 Douglas County employees, including administrative staff, sheriff's deputies, and highway crews. Members say the Douglas County initiative is part of a statewide effort to weaken unions' bargaining power.
This isn't accidental. It's not organic. It's driven by the Freedom Foundation. It's template policy legislation following the American Legislative Exchange Council. Your constituents didn't bring this your direction.
The Freedom Foundation, a well-funded Olympia nonprofit, has helped introduce similar draft legislation in small Washington cities, including Chelan. It's also promoted ordinances adopted in Lincoln, Kittitas, and Franklin counties, as well as the city and county of Spokane. The Lincoln County ordinance is the subject of a lawsuit that may reach the state Supreme Court.
The Freedom Foundation is taking on 100% of the litigation costs in Lincoln County as well. So at least that portion of the costs are not affecting Lincoln County. The litigation is fact-specific in Lincoln County, so regardless of whatever outcome does or does not come from the Lincoln County case, it may or may not have any impact on any other local government in the state.
In part, Sutton said, delaying the vote may allow more time for the Lincoln County court case to wrap up and give Douglas County more guidance. Jefferson Robbins, NCW Life.
Thank you for that report, Jefferson. We appreciate it. The driver who rolled his minivan Sunday on the Malaga-Alcoa Highway now charged officially with DUI. Sheriff's deputies say Matthew David Eddings of Malaga rolled his 1993 Astrovan about milepost 11 on the highway. This happened south Wenatchee about 7:30 on Sunday night. Eddings, 35 years old, got treatment for his injuries at Central Washington Hospital, allegedly gave a breath sample showing a blood alcohol level of 0.357. That's more than 3 times the legal limit. Deputies booked him into the Chelan County Jail. He was released on Tuesday morning after his first court appearance. Well, it seems fire season has already started. A fire set by Chelan area homeowner to burn brush along a fence line got out of control on Monday, but Chelan fire and rescue crews quick, and when they were able to contain it. The fire at 950 Perdaman Gulch Road was reported just before noon. Firefighters had it controlled by 12:22 in the afternoon. Fire officials are warning that even in places where there is still some residual snow, the vegetation remains dry and is susceptible to fire. Well, retailer Pier 1 Imports filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection on Monday and announced it's closing about half of their stores over the course of this year. A list of 331 stores targeted for closure in the United States does not include the Pier 1 Import store here in Wenatchee. In Washington State, stores in Everett, Federal Way, Redmond, Seattle, and Tacoma are slated for closure. The company has almost 1,000 stores in the United States and Canada. Pier 1 CEO Robert Reisbeck says they are looking for a buyer for the company and that the bankruptcy filing and store closures should help move that process along. And finally, this morning, the Washington State Patrol is warning motorists who drive on Highway 28 and they get to White Trail Road just west of Quincy. Hey, you want to drive with care. White Trail Road is a popular route, of course, for bypassing Quincy on your way to I-90. And the intersection with Highway 28 and White Trail Road has had numerous accidents over the years. Daniel Mosqueda is a trooper with the Washington State Patrol, and he explains the problems at that intersection.
I'm located at the intersection of State Route 28 and White Trail Road, 4.5 miles west of Quincy. The intersection behind me, if you're headed eastbound, does have a turn lane to turn right onto White Trail Road. Coming westbound, there is not one. So we want drivers at this intersection, if you're coming westbound, to make sure that you are aware of traffic ahead, because they may come to a complete stop in front of you so they can turn left on the White Trail. We also want to make sure to avoid driving on the shoulders. And if you are on White Trail Road, remember, you have to yield the right-of-way to traffic already on State Route 28. The speed limit through here is 60 miles an hour, and there is a lot of commercial traffic. We want you guys to be patient, and as always, avoid any distractions in the vehicle. Have a safe day out there.
Thank you very much, Trooper, for that good advice. Quarter after the hour on a drop-dead gorgeous Wednesday. News crew will be out of again, getting a whole bunch of news together, and we have a newscast that we're quite proud of. We aired at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. It's also available on demand on our website late in the afternoon with a preview of the Wednesday night news. Here's the anchor, Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, the city of Kashmir has begun exploring options on what to do with 20 acres of property it owns along the Wenatchee River. Our sunny, mild weather continues. I'll have your complete North Central Washington weather forecast, and Eric Granstrom will have results of last night's Big 9 basketball district play-in games. That and all the day's news coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. Hope to see you then. Dan?
Absolutely, Grant. Looking forward to it. Yeah, 5, 6, and 10 on TV, or as we like to say in the business, television. You can also watch it on demand, as I mentioned, on our website at ncwlife.com. And while you're on our website, drop us a note. There's a Contact Us icon at the top of our website. Click on it, fill out the form. We'd love to hear from you. You can go to our Facebook page, drop us a line. That way you can email us, news at ncwlife.com. If you got a news tip or if you just want to say hi, this is as much your TV station as it is ours. Going to take a break at 17 minutes after the hour. Come back with sports, including highlights of the Wenatchee boys' victory over Moses Lake last night in the District 6 play-in game. Sports is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live this morning from Studio 2 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
My name is Lacey Haggerty, and I am a nurse midwife with Columbia Valley Community Health. I love all aspects of my job because it is a profession that's very committed to empowering women to make decisions in their health care that feel best for them. It's incredibly valuable to me as a midwife that I get to take care of women throughout their whole lifespan. I hope to see you at a future visit because I know you'll love having midwifery care.
What is it to be a volunteer firefighter? Is it the gear, the training, the vehicles you'll learn to drive, the honor of protecting your community? Time, energy, sweat, sometimes blood and even tears. Every call may not be a victory. Sometimes you'll walk away wondering if you helped at all. But sometimes you will be a hero.
"18 minutes after the hour, 25 degrees, lots of sunshine, mid-40s again today, and for the rest of the week with lots of sunshine. Sports, the Wenatchee Panther boys basketball team are moving on in the District 6 4A tournament. Knocked off the Chiefs of Moses Lake 72-52 last night here in the big city. Garrett Long scored 26 points to lead 4 Panthers in double figures. Grant Olson was there. Our cameras were there. Highlights.
Back the other way come the Panthers. Here's Blauman, shovel pass underneath Lloydhammer. Blauman, 10 seconds on the shot clock for the Panthers. Nice bit of dribbling for Blauman. Drives to the basket. Good. Long waves everyone off. Comes to the near wing and then takes the shot. Left open. 3. It's good. Creeping up on 5 minutes left to go before halftime. Blauman, far side left wing, looks for someone. Now comes back out Long. He's going to put up the NBA 3. Good. His third 3 of the night. Reynolds tries to stay up with him, but he can't. Blauman so quick underneath. There's Lloydhammer up and in. And into the hands of Blauman. Once again, great ball handler, head up at all times, looking all the way down court, coast to coast. Good. Well, now to Blauman. Karstetter comes out on him, man-to-man. It's a good matchup there. Blauman so quick, and he can jump, layup, good. How about that, Nathan Blauman? Just 5 points in this game. Blauman, behind the back pass, underneath, no look, Lloydhammer, good. Here's Lucio. He's going to put it up at the buzzer. Short, no good. And that ends our ball game. Final score, Wenatchee Panthers 72 and the Moses Lake Chiefs 52.
Nathan, you ended up with 11 points on the night. You had 3 players in double figures. It was a well-rounded team effort tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought so. everyone played pretty solid, especially offensively. Like, we looked in flow, like, everything was working good. Guys were scoring, posting up, driving. It was a good all-around game offensively by, I think, our whole team.
So their best player, Kyle Karstetter, only 2 points the first half. He did score 7 in the fourth quarter, but what did you guys do to keep his point total down tonight?
Well, we tried to look on film about his tendencies and see what he likes to do. He likes to go off his left a lot, so we made sure we'd slide over, and be there and gap help and everything on D, so we were well prepared for him, and he had a good game, but I thought we did a good job on him and a good job on D.
Nice victory for the Panthers. They move on. They'll take on the Davis Pirates, and they will host the Pirates at 6 o'clock on Thursday. Davis knocked off Sunnyside last night, as you see there. We're going to have Thursday's game live right here on the NCW Live channel. Eastmont, of course, they're still sitting around. They will take on West Valley tomorrow at 6 for the district championship. The Wenatchee girls season, it came to an end last night down in West Valley. The final was 68-53. West Valley hitting 5 of their 10 3-pointers in a 24-point third quarter, and that put the game out of the reach. Panthers led by Christina Blauman, who had 13 points. Emily Redmond added 12. West Valley moves on to the district tournament. They'll take on Eisenhower Friday. The Cadets edged Davis last night. The OMAC boys move on to the glue crossover game. They beat Okanagan last night. The final was 63-50. At Eastmont High School, the Pioneers and the Cashmere Bulldogs will await tonight's results out of the Northeast A District Tournament to find out who their opponents are going to be over the weekend. OMAC will play the loser of tonight's district title game between Deer Park and Freeman. Cashmere takes on the winner of Newport and Medical Lake, both of those games Saturday at 5 o'clock. The Okanagan girls won a close one over OMAC last night to advance 58-50, the final there. That means the Bulldogs move on to the regional tournament. They'll await seeding from the WIAA. For their next game will be either February 28th or 29th. Brewsters in the District 6 2B championship game. Congratulations to the Bears. Knocked off Lake Roosevelt last night at the Lake Chelan Community Gym. The Bears' second consecutive win over the Raiders. It puts the Brewster into the regional tournament. They'll play a crossover game against Kittitas either Friday or Saturday at Quincy. Lake Roosevelt will play Liberty Christian in the crossover game either Friday or Saturday. The other boys' game last night saw Orville beat Liberty Bell for third place 40-27. The Hornets will take on Columbia Burbank. Quincy will take on White Swan. Waterville Mansfield ran their winning streak to 14 games last night. Nicely done. Shocker girls with a 48-37 win over Brewster. They are the District 6 2B champions. It marked the third time this season the Shockers have beaten the Bears. Waterville Mansfield will take on Tri-Cities Prep either Friday or Saturday in Quincy. Brewster will take on Mabton in the glue crossover at Quincy. Lake Roosevelt placed third in the district tournament with a 62-48 win over Liberty Bell last night. The Raiders will take on White Swan in Quincy either Friday or Saturday. Liberty Bell will play Columbia Burbank in Quincy. The Yakima Sundome, site of the next round of the district tournament down there. Prosser ended a Freitas season with a 75-52 victory. East Valley then edged Ellensburg 60-55 to advance. The Mustangs and the Red Devils will play tonight at 5 o'clock. Girls played the Sundome last night. Toppenish got by Sela to end the Viking season. Grandview surprised Prosser, and so the Wildcats and the Greyhounds will meet tonight at 7 o'clock. The Wenatchee Valley College, they'll play the final home games of the regular season tonight at the W.B. Smith Gymnasium. The Lady Knights clinched a playoff spot with their win over Spokane last weekend. They'll host Big Bend tonight at 5:30. Wenatchee Valley will wrap up the schedule Saturday at Treasure Valley and next Wednesday at Yakima Valley before the NWAC tournament begins. Washington State has a rare Wednesday night game. They'll be at Friel Court. The Cougars will host Cal tonight. You can watch it on the Pac-12 network. They tip off at 7 o'clock. The Wenatchee Valley men also clinched a playoff spot with last Saturday's win at Spokane. They'll wrap up their home part of their schedule tonight. Big Bend in town, 7:30. The Knights then travel to Treasure Valley and Yakima Valley, and then it's off to the postseason for the men Knights. Good news for Seahawk fans. They improved their tight end position yesterday. Free agent Greg Olson is now a Seahawk, the 3-time Pro Bowler and 13-year veteran, one of the top tight ends ever to play the position. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, he signed a 1-year, $7 million deal. That also includes a $5.5 million of that guaranteed. Olson visited and negotiated with Buffalo and Washington, but said he felt most comfortable with Seattle. And finally, position players have now reported to spring training in Peoria, Arizona for the Seattle Mariners. Everybody now is going to work. Manager Scott Service says he can't help but have a little spring in his step, so to speak, as you look around and see all the young talent.
I'm fired up. I really am. I thought the last 5 days, just with pitchers and catchers, has gone very well. Certainly from a coaching perspective, we have a couple new guys on staff. So getting their feet wet, getting them comfortable in our programs and what we're doing, it's gone great. Now, Full squad comes in. I think this might be the most players we've ever had in the camp that I've been here. I think there's 70 guys out there, so we certainly got a lot of guys to touch and player plans to go through and all that stuff. But we got things to work on. We got a very young team. I'm looking forward to this spring, and we have the ability to slow it down a little bit. Last year we were in such a rush to get off to Japan. This year we've got the full complement of spring training games and everything that goes along with that. So I'm fired up. I really am. I think everybody looks forward to this day, and we'll talk to the troops here in a few minutes and get them going.
Seattle plays their very first Cactus League game of the year Saturday against the Padres. 36 days until opening day of the baseball season. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Wednesday, 26 minutes after the hour. You know, chocolate goes well with just about anything, but the obscure holiday today is Chocolate Mint Day, the classic combination of chocolate and mint. Chocolate goes well with anything, but there's something about chocolate and mint. You can have chocolate and mint pairings with almost anything you put in your coffee. My favorite coffee creamer is the chocolate mint coffee creamer. You can put that in your latte or your coffee, or you just eat it as a cake. I want to eat that right now. Somebody a long time ago said, what happens if we put mint and chocolate together? Well, it's a party in your mouth. Big slice of chocolate mint cake coming my way for dessert after dinner tonight. Enjoy Chocolate Mint Day because the internet told me so. 27 minutes after the hour. Today in history, 142 years ago today, Tommy Edison patented the phonograph. And for that, I thank you, Thomas Edison. You did a lot of great things. Motion pictures, the light bulb. The guy was a genius, but his best invention ever, the phonograph. Trust me on that. Thank you, Thomas Edison. A lot of people had invented things that could record, but you couldn't play it back. The phonograph was the first thing that you could record it and play it back on the same thing you recorded it on. Happy birthday to the phonograph, 142 years old today. Not one of our better days on this day back in 1942, February 19th, 1942, Executive Order 9066 signed into law by President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Japanese Americans, it's off to the internment camps you go. About 70,000 of the Japanese Americans who were interned in World War II were, in fact, American citizens. They were just of Japanese ancestry. Didn't matter. Off to the camps they went. In this state, it is known as Remembrance Day, or the Day of Remembrance. Many states do this day today as the Day of Remembrance. Washington State was the first state to do that back in 1978. No Japanese American at any time, or even Japanese nationals living in the United States during World War II, none were ever found guilty of sabotage or espionage. But 44 years later, and 36 years after it was implemented on February 19th, 1976, Executive Order 9066 was overruled, rescinded by President Gerald R. Ford, who had Proclamation 4417 to remove that stain, which is still there. But it was the war. I don't know. 29 minutes after the hour. Birthdays. Nicholas Copernicus. I don't know what you can tell about this guy. He was born in the state in 1473, lived to the age of 70, died in 1543. That's very impressive. He was Polish by birth and by nationality. He was a lawyer, a mathematician, a scholar, an astronomer, a physician, a teacher. He was a governor, a diplomat, an economist. The guy was a Renaissance dude, Copernicus was. But of course, his main claim to fame is he was the first one who formulated the model that the sun and not the earth is at the center of the universe. And in the 16th century, this didn't go over too well, but Copernicus stuck by his guns, so to speak, and it turns out, of course, he was right. Happy birthday, Copernicus. Read his works. He's a pretty fascinating dude. Lee Marvin, born in the state in 1924, served his country honorably as a United States Marine in the Pacific Theater in World War II, was injured, was born in the state in 1924, died at the age of 63 in 1987. The man who shot Liberty Valance, the wild one, Cap Ballou, the Dirty Dozen. He sang, if you will, in Paint Your Wagon. Lee Marvin, the great American actor, born in the state in 1924. We miss Dave Niehaus, my oh my. Dave Niehaus, the longtime voice of the Seattle Mariners, broadcast 5,284 Mariner games in his career from day one until his untimely death of a heart attack 10 years ago at the age of 75. Get out the rye bread and mustard, Grandma. It's Grand Salami time. Dave Niehaus, born in the state of 1935. And Bob Dylan called this gentleman America's greatest living poet, and he's right. Smokey Robinson, the legend, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, the Miracles, solo work. Smokey Robinson is 80 years old today. Yep, can't go wrong with Smokey. You really can't. Great songwriter. Wrote over 4,000 songs. Damn near all of them are good. Bottom of the hour, going to take a break. Mike McNally's got an opinion about community theater. He's heavily involved in that, you know. And then my conversation with Joel Rhyner from Confluence Health. Ticker Talk, going to talk about your heart. February is National Heart Health Month, and my conversation with Joel coming up as well. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley, Wednesday edition on the NCW Live channel. Contractors, furniture makers, and weekend do-it-yourselfers around North Central Washington will tell you that Lombard's Hardwood Supply is the place to get what you need. Lombard's full millwork shop can handle jobs large or small. Lombard's has a full line of interior and exterior doors available, as well as custom barn doors. From alderwood to zebrawood and everything in between, it's Lombard's Hardwood Supply on School Street in Sunny Slope. Like us on Facebook and check out our monthly special.
I have a hereditary bone disease from the female side of my family. My bone loss was so significant that you could almost see the roots. I became embarrassed and I started covering my mouth. Eating became very difficult as far as I stopped eating apples, corn on the cob, things that you just eat as it is without utensils. Dr. Divis was my dentist prior to having implants. We talked about traditional dentures or implants, and implants was the only way really that I could go. John Divis and all of his office staff, they checked on me throughout all the processes. I would never go anyplace else. Today, I can eat corn on the cob. I can have apples. Thanks to Dr. John Divis and his staff, I have my smile back. I feel more confident. I am me again.
This is John Divis. Let our team help you solve your dental needs.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, Rosie and I, we recently spent over $300 to see the musical West Side Story at the Fifth Avenue Theater in Seattle. That was fun. It was a great show. We enjoyed doing stuff like that once in a while, but are you aware of the incredible live theater that's available to us right here at a minuscule fraction of the cost right here in Wenatchee? Every year, local community theater groups out there right here in our town put on very high-quality productions. No joke. These productions are comparable to anything you're going to go see professionally over in Seattle. Now, I know many of you take advantage of these opportunities, but there are many more folks who aren't even aware of the live entertainment we are blessed to have right here. So, if you've never seen a live play or musical here in town, hey, I encourage you to give community theater a try. Trust me, you'll love it. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
My awesome is being part of the Nez Perce tribe. We have a tourism company and we highlight the history and culture of the Nez Perce people. I found Washington Trust Bank because they were very involved in the community. They believed in me. They definitely saw the need for this in our region. All the folks at Washington Trust Bank are phenomenal. They've done such a wonderful job helping me along my journey.
What's your awesome? Whatever it is, we'll help you get there.
And we're back on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Once a month, our friends from Confluence Health drops by, pays us a visit, talk the latest on your earthly vessel, which unfortunately doesn't last forever. We all know that, but you want to live a good, long, healthy life. And ironically enough, Joel Rhyner is joining us. Joel's been on the show before. Joel works at the cardiology department at Confluence Health, and it's good to have him on board because not only is February Heart Health Awareness Month, but just last week the Centers for Disease Control announced that the leading cause of death among all Americans is lack of heartbeat.
Correct. That's exactly right.
Joel Rhyner, it's good to see you, my friend.
Thanks,
How are you?
Dan. Appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
What's the latest in we're calling this Ticker Talk.
Ticker Talk.
Ticker Talk with Joel Rhyner. You, I haven't seen you for a while, first of all.
Yeah.
We were talking off camera. I know you're part of the Run Wenatchee organization.
Right.
Great folks. You guys moved your annual turkey trot from up on Western at Rotary Park. You moved it down to the Apple Capital Recreational Loop Trail for the Turkey Day festivities, and it worked out pretty good.
Worked out great. Kind of speaking of heart health and getting some exercise before the big feast on Thanksgiving. So we moved that event down there for lots of different reasons, but it really turned out awesome. We had over 1,000 people, and it's a fundraiser for Women's Resource Center too. So gave back to the community on that. Was actually able to help them finish off their fundraising campaign pretty strong. So. And
that's going to be a permanent move, you think, from now on? The turkey trot?
For sure. Yeah. We're going to do a little tweaks on where people, how the runners and walkers kind of take on the course. But yeah, it's going to be down there forever.
And there's another big run coming up this weekend. And we'll talk about that as we get deeper into this conversation with Joel Rhyner. For the uninitiated, it's been a while since you've been on this program. Tell folks a little bit about yourself, what you do with Confluence.
Yeah, so I'm a cardiology physician assistant. Been with Confluence now 15 years. My background training is in exercise physiology, and then as a certified physician assistant, went to the University of Washington for that. And so I'm super fortunate to be a part of an amazing cardiology team. Physicians, physician assistants, nurse practitioners, sonographers, nuclear medicine technologists, pharmacists, MAs, nurses. We've just got actually a world-class team of providers from all over the country. Some of them actually grew up here. You mentioned
Dr. Bill Murray, my good friend.
Yeah. But our staff is pretty incredible. The things, the services that we offer, from cardiac surgery to putting stents in, pacemakers, defibrillators, but also prevention, from everything from cholesterol management, blood pressure, and also treatment of cardiovascular disease, because that comes in different aspects, whether you have congestive heart failure or atrial fibrillation or recent stent. We are very fortunate in the Wenatchee Valley, and I think the other thing that to understand is it's not just Wenatchee and East Wenatchee. It's all the way to the Canadian border with a clinic in Oroville. Confluence Health does, and so we have patients from Oroville, Wakanda, and all the way out to the far reaches of Grant County, and all the way over past Leavenworth up into Lake Wenatchee, and then down even into Ellensburg. So our area of expertise, if you want to call it, really stretches a huge part of Eastern Washington.
It's funny because physicians, nurses, CAs like yourself, if you're worth your weight in spit, you can pretty much punch your own ticket, and a lot of them want to come here. They want to come. We have an incredible amount of talent in the medical health field that have decided to call the Wenatchee Valley home.
Yeah, exactly. Our Confluence Health, we're super fortunate to have the talent pool that we have, not just in cardiology, but in a lot of our specialties, primary care, all the way through the other subspecialties. And our environment attracts us, right? The recreation opportunities, the kind of healthy living that we all are kind of trying to reach out for, whether it's from the weather to good schools and good communities to be in. So we're fortunate, and we also I think really are taking technology and trying to reach both our care partners, but also our patients. We're looking at telemedicine programs, virtual health types of things that allow us to reach in a broader way, because physically you can only go so far, and so innovation is really important. And healthcare is challenging. I mean, we all know, whether it's having insurance or not having insurance, and payments and things like that. It's a heavy burden for everybody. And so we are trying to really look at ways we can provide the most cost-efficient care on a daily basis.
It's funny, towards the end of the last century in 1999 or 2000, they did a poll among medical professionals, and I can't remember exactly who did it. It was a top-flight poll, and basically the question that they asked was, what was the most important medical breakthrough of the 20th century? And the answer was the pacemaker, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
Because before the invention of the pacemaker, if you needed a pacemaker, your days were numbered pretty quickly.
Yeah, they were, and actually the first pacemakers, if you Google, they were huge. I mean, they were big.
Huge.
They'd stack
Took
your
up the whole
belly,
chest,
and
yeah.
they were just all over the place. And so now, I mean, pacemakers are basically, this size. In fact, we now have pacemakers that basically are the size of a vitamin, and they're implanted inside the heart through a catheter. So there's no scar. So that technology
Much
is
more
just,
efficient, I'm assuming.
yeah, and for the right patient, it's the right thing to do. So kind of segueing to that, we are now, like stenting, like stents. They're mesh-like tubes that go in the coronary artery. The original stents, it was kind of 50-50, back 25, 30 years ago, that if they would work or not. Now, the stents that we use at Confluence Health are state-of-the-art, medicated coated, various sizes, which is great because not everybody's built the same. And there's rapid research in the area of absorbable stents. So that technology is coming. Our ultrasound procedures are becoming faster and more accurate with better software that we use for 3D imaging and things like that. MRI, we're using MRIs in heart care a lot now, didn't used to. Segueing back to the pacemaker, defibrillators, they're not vitamin sized yet, but those have gotten smaller and more effective.
And they're everywhere now. We have 4 or 5 in our building. Everywhere you go now, you see those little red boxes.
Exactly. Yeah. So that actually brings up a really good point about if a patient needs a defibrillator internally, that's a procedure. But from a community basis, AEDs we call them, save lives all over the place. If you go to Town Toyota Center, they're there. You go to the football Apple Bowl, they're there in buildings, like you said, even down at Pybus. So any place that people gather. High school gyms, anything like that, AED, it saves lives because it delivers a shock of electricity. Because when people have a cardiac arrest, they often have very little warning. In that early response, and in fact, at the event this weekend, which we'll talk a little more about, we've got information about hands-on CPR and AEDs and early defibrillation and things like that with our partners through Confluence Health and Lifeline and LifeFlight too. That early awareness for cardiac event is critical to saving lives. Also, stroke. We have several algorithms, call it, but basically some simple things that people can identify. If you have facial drooping, slurred speech, listing to one side or the other, I mean, those are signs where people get a stroke, and all this is time sensitive. So the faster we recognize it and call 911 and get the paramedical professionals there as soon as possible, saves lives.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Saturday.
Yeah.
I got my passport to a healthy heart. What's happening Saturday down at the Pybus?
We have a couple of things. To talk about the passport, there's a health fair, heart health fair going on from 9 to noon inside Pybus. We have over a dozen vendors there to provide information about heart health, healthy exercise, eating, but also life-saving, as I mentioned. We also have a cool storyboard about patients that have survived cardiovascular disease through Confluence Health. So some great stories there. We're also encouraging people, this kind of gets you some information about heart healthy goals. We also have a run, which I'll talk about in here in a second. But you can also get stamped on here, get some free prizes, and it's just a good way to get a better understanding of, hey, what can I do for myself to make make my heart healthier, because all the technology and all the wonderful things that we have at Confluence Health and to provide cardiology care, the single best thing is we can prevent it.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can quit smoking, we can exercise routinely, we can eat a healthy diet and have access to healthy food, and if we have conditions that need to be treated, we're on the right treatment plan, it goes a long way.
Avoid obesity. I mean, it's hard on your ticker.
It
you know,
is.
Ticker has a hard time
Absolutely.
pumping the blood through the body when.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, diabetes, obesity, high sugar diets, even if you're skinny, tobacco use, all these things are things that we can control to a degree. And so we have to, and so we're trying to provide an opportunity for people to have access points, understand and get more information about how do I get better, and pick that one thing off and go for it. So we have some great, we have nurses, paramedics, dietitians, cardiac rehab professionals, massage therapy, and we have all sorts of folks that are going to be there from 9 to noon. To kind of kickstart your fitness off, we're having our 3rd annual Heartbreaker 5K, 10K run walk. So we're going to have over 400 people exercising.
And the weather will be a lot better than it was last year.
Than last year, yeah, for sure. We looked out. It's not great for skiing, but it's good for running and walking. But and we'll start right behind Pybus there on the Loop Trail, go out to Walla Walla Point Park and back for the 5K, and then out to Confluence State Park and back for the 10Kers. That benefit, the proceeds of this run go to our local Mended Hearts chapter, and that's a super important group of people that help support individuals and families with cardiovascular disease that live in the valley. And it's a great, in fact, they will have a booth at the health fair. And so we're super fortunate to partner with them and give them some resources so that they can help folks that, whether they're in Wenatchee or Oroville or Moses Lake, that if they have some needs, that they can help out.
And a friendly reminder, hopefully we plant the seed, and you're going to be at the Pybus, and you get your passport filled out, and you get a cool prize for doing it. There are people out there who say, I've had it. I'm going to start eating better. I'm going to start exercise. I'm going to treat my earthly vessel better now than I have been in the past. Don't just do it. Go get a physical, right? Go see your primary care physician and make sure you're good to go.
Yeah, exactly. So the first step is recognizing, hey, I need to do something, which is great. But check with the primary care provider, to look for some things and whether it's high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, things like that. Make sure you're kind of physically capable, because even though the risk is low of a cardiovascular event when people exercise, it's still there.
Yeah.
Or if you're like, gosh, I went to this health fair and I have like 3 or 4 of these symptoms that they're talking about. Time to get checked out, because none of us want to admit that we're infallible, right? And maybe you have been trying to go to the gym, and maybe you've been doing some of these things, and you're like, boy, I get dizzy and lightheaded when I do this, or my chest is a little heavy, or so understanding, and we often have stories where people are like, I didn't know that could be a sign for heart disease or stroke. And men and women present differently for particularly cardiovascular disease.
Which is still the number one killer.
Still the number one killer, men and women across the country. And we don't have, what's interesting is we don't have as robust statistics as we would like for our region. We're working on that to try and get a better understanding of patients that are diagnosed with cardiovascular disease. But the trends are that we, are probably in the same boat, because over 42% of the U.S. population does have some form of cardiovascular disease.
That's an alarming number.
Yeah. So we, it's a big deal.
It's a big deal. We're running out of time. Again, we're talking to Joel Rhyner, who works at the cardiology department at Confluence Health. You talked about the symptoms or the signs of a stroke. For those people who don't remember, I've had 2 close friends of mine die of heart attacks in their early 50s because they just weren't paying attention to the classic symptoms, which are, Joel, that you're having a heart attack.
So from a heart attack perspective, and again, I'll touch base on both for men and women, and there is some crossover, but The most common one people think about is chest pain. Now that can be all sorts of different things though. It can be pressure, it can be heavy, it can be kind of a squeezing sensation. It doesn't always have to be right here. It can be across your shoulders, in your back, up your neck and jaw, and your throat. Some people have it only when they exercise. Some people get it at rest. Fatigue, kind of profound fatigue, can also be an indication, more so in women. Nausea and vomiting also, and that we often see that when particularly women are having a heart attack, but also as a precursor to it. Now, granted, there's lots of other things that can cause those things, but it does occur more often than not. For some people, their first sign of a heart attack, though, is nothing, and it's the sudden heart attack. But risk factors play a role. If you have high cholesterol and you have diabetes and you use tobacco, then those are really high on the list. Stress can also trigger cardiovascular events, which we're still trying to get a better understanding about that. Family history. So if people have a family history of cardiovascular disease, particularly early in life, so what does that mean? Typically, if it's under age of 60, even in like for men, if it's under 55 and women under 60, we call it kind of a red flag that maybe genetically there is something in the genes that you have that predispose you to heart attacks or cardiovascular disease itself. There are some tests that we can do for that, but by and large, it's just recognizing, hey, people in my family have this problem, but also recognizing, did they have high cholesterol? Did they have diabetes? Also, ethnicity also plays a big role. We have a large Hispanic population in our valley. Type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease is very high, and so recognizing that and early identification of the risk factors, and so if you have any of these or you think that you might have them, go to your primary care team.
Don't dilly-dally around.
No, but also if you're having symptoms that are pretty profound like that, or chest discomfort and so forth, 911. Don't drive yourself. I mean, we have a lot of stories of that because you can pass out, you can end up in real trouble. Not only hurt yourself, but hurt somebody else. And get, our paramedicine teams in the valley are amazing. And we've worked really hard with them over the years of identifying a heart attack or a potential heart attack. So one of our cardiologists, Dr. Harms, sits on a board at the state level about early intervention for cardiovascular disease. And Confluence Health, our region, we usually rank in the top 1 or 2 consistently for that early detection because we have it's called a door-to-wire time. And so when a patient comes into Confluence Health, and if they're having a heart attack, our response time, we want that as short as possible to get into the cath lab and get treatment right away. But that starts in the home when somebody gets picked up or at the shopping mall. So the clock starts for us, and so we really pride ourselves on getting everything in order in less than 60 minutes. Sometimes it's less than 30, depending on where they come from. We also, you'll often probably see the helicopter flying around all the time. So we also have a robust air ambulance service in the valley. And in fact, they will be at the health fair this weekend. I think both Airlift Northwest and
Life Flight will both be there.
Yeah. So we're super fortunate. Why is that? Well, as I mentioned, we have such a wide area to cover. And one of the things in cardiology and in stroke care, time is muscle. Or, with your brain, time is brain tissue. So we recognized years ago that barring any major weather issues, we can fly somebody very, efficiently from particularly the northern parts of the county and also the eastern parts of the county, rather than driving with an ambulance at 90 miles an hour and potentially having issues there too. So our 30-minute window ambulance service is amazing. We also have great to the care so they can get to a tertiary care center. So, for example, There's a helicopter based in Brewster, of all places, because they can cover the northern part of the county. And there's a helicopter based in Moses Lake. And then there's a fixed-wing aircraft and out at Pangbourne that can fly all over, obviously, but also I believe Airlift has a helicopter out there as well, quite frequently. So we're really fortunate to have that.
Amen. Yeah.
So we can fly folks in, and so again, when you see those helicopters coming in, it's not always heart attacks, but a lot of times it is.
Yeah.
So.
We are out of time, Joel. Let's wrap up where we began. One more time, give folks the meat and potatoes, if you will, about
Passport to Heart Health Saturday at Pybus 9 to noon.
Absolutely free.
Absolutely free. We have a run that's not free, but it occurs kind of right in that 9 to 10 window. So the trail is going to be super busy. Again, we're going to have over 400 people on there, so just a heads up for everybody. But lots of runners and walkers out there getting healthy, supporting heart disease prevention and awareness. And then in the concourse, look for all these great tables and vendors there to find out more about leading a healthy heart.
Yeah, and if you get and everybody, by the way, if you get your passport filled out, it's not like you're getting the drawing for a prize. Everybody gets a prize if you get your passport filled out. Joel, it's good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, Dan. Thanks for having me.
Don't be a stranger. Come by and see me anytime. Absolutely. Confluence Health with their monthly visit. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
It's time to renew your body and mind. It's time for Stressless. Now at Boswell's. Save hundreds with a free leather upgrade or $300 on the immensely popular Stressless Sunrise, featuring innovative ergonomic comfort systems and multiple sizes for a personalized fit. Don't wait. It's time for Stressless. Proud to be endorsed by the American Chiropractic Association. Shop Boswell's, 2915 Easy Street in Wenatchee.
Hi, Justin here, owner of Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere. Club Crow is your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue. We are your one-stop bar and grill, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Looking for a fun night out? Join us at Club Crow Saturday nights. We have live bands to rock the night away. Club Crow is bringing comedy to Cashmere. Check out our Facebook page for upcoming dates. Live jam session first Sunday of every month. Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
Arctic Refrigeration and Heating, serving North Central Washington, is proud to offer the finest heating and cooling air quality products along with prompt and professional customer service since 1984. Regardless of the temperature outside, Arctic is here for you. Arctic offers a variety of services: residential and commercial heating, air conditioning, commercial refrigeration, as well as planned fall and spring maintenance for the overall well-being of your system. Call Arctic Refrigeration and Heating for your heating and cooling needs.
Is search engine optimization right for my business? Maybe. Studies show the first and second search results get 50% of all the clicks. But you have to fight national chains to get there. If the user has to scroll down to find you, tough luck. You could hide a dead body on page 2 and the whole zombie apocalypse on page 3. Or you could spend less and get an ad in the Impact Big Print phone book, giving local businesses a chance to shine.
Impact Directories. Bigger print, better book.
Got about a minute left on this Wednesday edition of Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. Why don't we wrap it up where we began? But just a gorgeous weather forecast. The rest of this week, just about as good as it can get. Lots of sunshine today. We'll top off at about 42, 43 degrees. We are currently sitting at 23 degrees outside of our studio. So it's going to take a little while to climb up that temperature ladder, but it's looking good. High pressure is a big dome out there, and it's just basically preventing any kind of weather system from paying us a visit. It bumps into the dome and then it goes elsewhere, which is why we have lots of sunshine, but cool overnight lows. Of course, no clouds. So the radiant heat is not being held in, which is why our overnight lows are a little chilly. Got the forecast all the way through Friday. We get to Friday night, it's going to cloud up a little bit, 30 for the overnight low. Saturday, a mixture of clouds and sun. We should be dry, a little bit warmer, high right around 48 or 49 degrees. Saturday night into Sunday, we're going to get some rain. The rain is expected to come down from about 4 a.m. Sunday morning till about 10 a.m. Sunday morning with some snow in the upper elevations. As you can see, we'll top off at 46 and then back to the sunshine and warm temperatures on Monday and Tuesday. Everybody have a great Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.